Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. All right. So, I record this on Tuesday, August 5th, in the latter part of the afternoon. Done with work for the day. On to this. The laughter. Jeez. Donald Trump was walking around on the roof of the White House today. He had some Secret Service guys, or at least people who I'm assuming were the Secret Service. Guys in suits walking around with them. Most likely would be Secret Service, right? And he was wandering around the roof answering questions from reporters. Additionally, within the last couple of days, Trump is saying how he's lowered prescription drug prices 1,500%. Not 50%, 1,500%. Just as a note of reference, if you lower drug prices 100%, they go from costing something to being free. If you say 1,500%, you're somehow implying that the drug company is paying you money to take their drugs. And then he called CNBC to discuss his poll numbers and how popular he is. And he was saying that he has popularity, his poll numbers he was looking at, he was 70% approval rating. And the CNBC host, who apparently is a firm Trump supporter, said, well, yeah, amongst Republicans. And Trump interrupted him and said, no, it's 95% amongst Republicans. This is 70% amongst the general population. And then he started referencing Henry Enton, who he called Henry Enbin, which I actually typed into Google when I was trying to figure out who he was talking about, and Google corrected me. Enton had said on Sunday how Trump's policies on tariffs and immigration have made Trump the most influential president of the last 100 years or more. And by that, what he means is that his policy on immigration is such that they actually see people leaving the United States faster than they're coming in as far as immigration goes. And we haven't seen tariffs this high since the 30s. This is not necessarily praising Trump. It's just saying that Trump is having a bigger influence on the United States than any other president. And I think you and I would all agree that this is not a positive influence. But that's not how Trump took it. His comment was Henry Enton was crazy over how well Trump is doing. That 70% approval, I think, was the disapproval number that Trump was not understanding. And he's not understanding that when you're using the term, you're the most influential president, it's not in a positive way. And when did it become normal for presidents to wander around on the White House roof? If Joe Biden, remember how Joe Biden allegedly walked off camera and was talking to somebody who wasn't there? And then when you saw the raw footage and you saw there was actually a paratrooper doing a reenactment and he went over to talk to the guy for a little bit, but the right-wing media had cut that part out to make it look like Biden was wandering off aimlessly. Remember that part? What do you think they would have done if Biden was on the roof of the White House? Remember how we would be having conversations about whether Biden's fit to be president? Where are those conversations? Why does the media allow this to be normalized, but heaven forbid Biden walk around without a shoe tied, or heaven forbid, the worst sin of all, Obama wear a tan suit? Where are my pearls? I keep forgetting to wear them. I don't have a fainting couch here. I don't have my fainting pearls to clutch. I don't know what I'm going to do. So Trump seems a little bit unhinged the last few days. Oh, and he's got a deposition. He wants to get Rupert Murdoch's deposition before Rupert Murdoch dies because he's 94. And the Murdoch team said, yeah, we want your deposition too. And now all of a sudden the Trump team's like, whoa, we need longer. We need more time to have discovery. Because they don't want to put Trump on on a sworn oath discussing his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein over the last decade and a half that they were friends. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what a mess that would be? Oh, God. So the media is not calling Trump out. I don't see any of the media calling Trump out for his exaggerations, his lack of living in objective reality, and what the hell is he doing on the roof? Now, granted, he's trying to do a lot of stuff to distract from the Epstein case, but and there could be an argument: is he faking being mentally ill so he doesn't have to go to prison? He won't be healthy enough to go to prison. Let's face facts here, okay? And we know he's crazy. We know he's insane. You don't have to fake it. He is. This just, if he is faking it, it's just going to be easier to commit him to a facility. Not that they wouldn't have done it anyways, but it just makes it that much easier. Don't gear yourself up thinking that he's going to be wearing an orange jumpsuit to match his spray tan and he'll be behind prison bars in a maximum security prison. Ain't going to happen. It just isn't going to happen. Much easier to put him in a mental facility somewhere where he's the only patient in that wing or the only patient in that facility. That way, state secrets don't get blabbed out to anyone else. But let's take a look at Trump's mental health, because dude is spiraling. Oh, and by the way, Sean Diddy Combs' lawyer acknowledged today that they're approaching Donald Trump for a pardon. So, Sterling keeps seeing that happening, and, well, here's the next step for that. Okay, for entertainment purposes only, let's take a look. Trump's mental health. Well, yeah. Okay, Fool card. New beginnings. Walking off a cliff foolishly, despite the warnings. Well, let's see where we're going here. We have new beginnings, and we got the Knight of Cups, and the heartbreak and the betrayal. There was something leaked to a newspaper attributed to a Trump family member, and I don't know if it was Mary Trump, but saying that Trump is rotting from the inside. And I think he's spiraling. I really do think he's spiraling. And family members or loved ones, they don't know how to approach him to let him know that they need to take the car keys away. Because he still controls the car keys, or more importantly, he controls the Trump family fortune. And how do you tell him he's crazy without him thinking you've betrayed him and then tossing you out? In the past, you got the star card. He has, star of the show, larger than life, always front and center, Hollywood star. Well, not Hollywood star, but TV star and stuff like that. He has been in the tabloids since the 80s. Always, always, always having to be the face of everything. That's in the past, though. Current situation is the Wheel of Fortune. This is now more you've lived a life where you've not been the healthiest of people, shall we say. Whether it's your diet, your consumption of substances, sleep, stress, whatever, it's now catching up with you. And let's not forget that he has a family history of dementia and things along those lines. Overarching energy is the Ace of Swords. And again, somebody is going to have to take up the sword. One of these people, these are almost like yes men. These are people who refuse to say no, who will carry this man's water. Somebody has to stand up to him. The Ace of Swords. Also, swords are about intellect, but note how the laurels are wilted and dying off. It's well past its prime. The king has lost his laurels, his glory, his intellect. Whatever intellect he had, it's not there anymore. Lesson to be learned is the Knight of Swords. I think we're actually seeing his intellect collapse rapidly on this one. There needs to be an intervention. Somebody needs to intervene for this guy. I don't think but he doesn't have anybody. But they got to find somebody. Somebody needs to intervene here. The outcome is the Knight of Pentacles. Somebody's going to have to approach him to discuss his health, especially his mental health. His mental, emotional, and physical health. But a lot of it is just his mental health. Dude's coming across as cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He truly is. Has anyone actually approached Trump about his health? Has anybody actually approached him and tried to broach that topic with him? You know, it won't do any good, right? He's just... has anybody shown enough courage or foolishness to actually talk to him about his health, especially his mental health? For Carter. Illusions and delusions. Yeah, let's find out who can draw the shortest straw on this one. Chariot card. 8 of coins. 5 of coins. And the Lover's card. It's like, has anybody tried? I don't know. Somebody that's about his disillusions. He's not integral. He's delusional. Somebody, or it has to be like a family member. It has to be somebody really, really close. You know, whether it's like Melania or Ivanka or something like that. It's got to be somebody really, really close to him in order to have that conversation. He won't hear it from anybody else. I'm not sure what the 8 of coins is. Working apprentice. This is working on one's health. Working on a plan. Maybe there's a plan on how to broach this. Because he's spiraling. This is the Chariot's out of control. The low energy of the Chariot's out of control. He's spiraling. But people don't want to tell him because they'll be kicked out. That's why it can't be like J.D. Vance or a cabinet member. If a cabinet member tells him that, then he'll kick him out. They're back to that 3 of Swords on the previous reading. They will have betrayed him. So they have to find somebody who's close to him. Because anything else requires a spine and some ability to not lose one's position because of Trump's power. Something like that. You know what I mean? It's like the vice president can't tell it to him. The vice president doesn't have the respect. Now, Trump can't fire the vice president. He can't do that. But he wouldn't listen to him either. He's not going to listen to the donors. He's certainly not going to listen to Peter Thiel or Elon Musk. No, it's going to have to be Melania or Ivanka. It's got to be something like that. Four Carter, has Melania... you know she doesn't care. Has Melania talked to him about his mental health? Page of Swords. I think we're talking about the younger girl here. Let's see. 5 of Wands, Mayhem... The Death card, 4 of Cups, 2 of Swords. She doesn't care. Would she talk to him? Yeah, she could. She doesn't want to. He'll just, it would be falling on deaf ears, or like death ears, but falling on deaf ears. It would cause a fight, and he doesn't want to hear it. He'll just grump down like a child. I'm not listening to you, la, 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 la. To her, it's not worth it. Yeah, could she get it through to him? Yeah, she probably could. But she doesn't care. She doesn't care enough to do it. You know that jacket? I don't care. You don't really. I don't really care. Do you? It's kind of like that vibe. It's like, you know what? It's Melania. Soft quit that marriage a long time ago. She's in it for the money at this point, for her allowances and such. It's better than not having money coming in and doing stuff. So she's managed to somehow carve out a tolerable existence while having Donald Trump as a husband and her last name is Trump. You know, because it's not like she can't find a guy who will have an affair with her. You know what I mean? The only thing she can't have is the freedom to be seen with this person out in public. Not that she would want to be seen because she's a private person, but you know, she just has to be a little bit more secretive and discreet. That's all. What about Ivanka? What about Ivanka? 5 of Swords. Losing. Winner takes all. Magician. Queen of Swords. 8 of Swords. And the Devil card underneath. Good Lord. She probably has I don't know if she's done anything. She could probably point it out to him that, you know, it's not your fault, Daddy, it's not your fault. This is the way you were born. She could probably, you know, she could paint him as the victim and get the message across. I'm not seeing where she does necessarily. It could be that, you know, it could be that folks in charge lobby her to do this. He'll listen to you. You know what words to say. But at the same time, she doesn't want to do it either. She doesn't want to face his wrath. Fortunately for her, Jared and she have so much money, she's not tied to Daddy's fortune anymore, which makes her more free. She has the ability to speak freely. Maybe if there was a plea deal for keeping her out of trouble, if she can talk to her father, they would do that. But I don't think that's really the case. So what I'm telling you is there's nobody who he would listen to that's going to be able to tell him that he needs to step down. Which means that it's going to have to be forced on him, or it has to become his idea. So either it's like, yeah, we're 25th Amendmenting you and you don't get a choice in the matter. Good day, sir. Or Trump realizes that the walls are closing in and then he negotiates a deal as he flees the country, that sort of thing. Have J.D. Vance and the cabinet started talking about his mental health in the 25th Amendment? Again, I record this on August 5th, which is a Tuesday. Have they started discussing that yet? For Carter. Hermit card. Exploratory phase. Might be starting to look at things. Let's see. Got Judgment. A couple major arcana here. Knight of Wands. And the Page of Swords again. Queen of Wands. Alright, so what do we have? Hermit card. Seeking solutions. It could be retreating back into your cave or leading a path forward, looking for enlightenment, looking for new solutions. Knight of Wands. Moving forward slowly and steadily with the plan. Judgment. Assessing the situation around you. Knowing, kind of seeing where life is taking you and then rallying the troops. Page of Swords. Nascent ideas. New beginnings. I think they're trying to put together a plan. You have to call together the cabinet and get the majority of the cabinet on board with this. Page of Swords could be J.D. Vance, as far as, because he would be the person replacing Trump, right? Because he's the young vice president who would be next in line of succession. But it's like they're looking into this. Not many presidents have been when they've been 25th Amendmented. It's been for a short time. In the Queen of Wands is thinking about the actions they're going to take. It's been for a short time. Like, they go into the hospital for surgery, and they might be out of commission for a week, and then the vice president takes over. So it's in the Constitution. But it's not been enacted. It looks like they're just discussing. They're still looking at the path forward. Maybe there could be some negotiations going on with this. Spirit, anything else you can tell us at a really high level what's going on with Trump's mental health? Temperance, detoxification, coming down, treatments, Two of Wands, the planning. There's almost withdrawals. There's like a withdrawal going on here. In the Chariot. Things, progression, it's progression almost spiraling out of control. He needs rest and relaxation. He needs rest and relaxation. They need to figure out vacations for him. I'd say he's working too hard, but he's not in good enough shape to do anything but try and rest and relax. In the past, you got the King of Wands. To me, this is not the Attorney General, but this is the person who always, has to have his hand in all the pies, so to speak, calling all the shots. He can't do that anymore. He can't keep up with everything that's going on. Current situation is the Nine of Swords. Things that he had control over, he's lost control. There's a total loss of control here. Somebody needs to step in, because he needs to be rescued from himself a lot. It's going to continue happening. It's probably going to get worse. It might be finally somebody's got to wave the white flag and say, hey, look, here's what's going on. It's almost like in order for him to get the break he needs, somebody's got to spill the beans as to what's going on with this guy. And the outcome is the Seven of Wands. But he'll fight it. He'll fight it. I think he knows. He probably knows what's going on. He's being told. He's not listening, though. He just doesn't listen because he's spiraling out of control. He needs to rest and relax, or refuses to. And probably because he feels like he's the only person who can save himself. And he can't. So he spirals out of control, and his mental health gets worse. His situation gets worse. At some point, he's got to have an epiphany. He knows he's at some point. If you might already know that he can't do this anymore, but he's going to go down fighting. He can't stop. He can't stop. And we all get to suffer for it. Okay, one last one here. His most ardent supporters. Are they even noticing? I mean, let's look at it from a MAGA point of view. Are they even noticing that the dude's walking on the roof of a building? That you can't lower prescription drug prices 1,500%, Come on, can they even just say, come on, you can lower it down some, but we all know you haven't lowered it 1,500%. We're not. We want to believe you, but we can't believe you on that one. That's too big of a lie. That sort of thing. And I know you're all laughing. that's not possible. Get the Queen of Wands and the Lover's card here. The internal actions by his most ardent supporters. But are they looking at this, and are they seeing it? Are they seeing that he's not well? Page of Wands, Judgment card. I mean, there might be some talking about things. Yeah, they're more talking about how they're disappointed. Trump promised the things he was going to do, and he hasn't delivered on them. And that's irritating him. But have they noticed anything with his mental health? Seven of Wands. He lied to them, and they knew he lied, but they didn't care. Current situation, the King of Wands. He was supposed to come in not only with these great ideas, but implement them. Implement the ideas. He had the elections stolen from him. He didn't get to do it the first time. He was going to come in as the big king. They welcomed him in, and chaos has ensued. And the outcome is the Nine of Cups. His most ardent supporters, they're still behind him. He's everything they want him to be. Maybe I should have not phrased it that way. His ardent supporters are right there with him. And if I look at that one from the non-ardent supporters' point of view, that they may not like the chaos that's going on here. You said you were going to make... It's like instead of making their lives better, he's made their lives more chaotic. One card. How do they like that? Their opinion of him going down is decreasing. He's losing support. No indication that anybody in the leadership roles are going to do anything in a leadership type of manner. So, more of the same, I guess. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.